Hello and welcome to this podcast. Uh, I have with me this wonderful person called Pooja. Wonderful because she said yes without me knowing why, and I don't know much about her. She's been in advertising, in client servicing, is all I know about her. So before we begin, Pooja, would you let us know a little bit about yourself?
Yeah, sure. Hi, my name is Pooja, and I'm working as a client servicing in an ad agency. And I am in this industry for past 8 years, I guess. Yeah. So, I mean, I love this space. Personally, I feel alive when I'm working. So, yeah, I know there's a purpose to my life when I'm working in an ad agency or on ground, on events, for events, everything about an ad agency. So, yeah, that's what.
That's quite nice. Uh, I have been thinking since morning. It's the first time I'm stressed about a question. What should be the first question? Since I have no knowledge about, no background, we haven't ever spoken before this podcast, even for 5 minutes at length, like today.
Yeah.
Um, so my question then is, why did you say yes to being part of something like this? And what do you think this is, according to you as an outsider? This would also help me understand how people perceive this venture.
Okay. So, firstly, why will anyone say no? Reason it's so flattering. You get to speak aimlessly about. So let's say you have a topic in mind, you don't have a topic in mind. I'm a person who loves talking, baseless or with base. So there was no reason for me to say no. Firstly,
Okay.
yeah, and also, see, not that we've spoken much, but then, see, I love talking to new people, because some I know when I go home, I take something from that conversation. So I know. And see, seriously, I'm a person who listens to a lot of podcasts. I mean, not, I don't have a genre or anything like that. I'm just a newbie, you can say, to podcast. But then I love this medium, and me being on one is really, very, like, something that I've never done. I have never imagined I would be doing ever. So yeah, it's a very new thing for me. And honestly, I couldn't say no to a very intelligent person like you.
Okay, I don't know about the intelligent part, so I would wait for that to be proven wrong. But
No.
okay, so then I'll give you a brief background on what I've been doing. Around 2.5 years back, uh, I think 4 or 5 months prior to COVID, I
Okay.
was actually quite worked up with uh, the advertising life that you find very enriching and beautiful. I've been in this for now 25 years or something. I have been there, done that, and I presume that I have a mind that is sticking with who am I and what are we about, what is humankind, what are the problems that we have,
Mm-hmm.
and I've been wanting to share something of me. And during that time, I was quite disturbed that I was not doing enough because advertising finally is superficial in my head now. I've
Okay.
been doing all kinds of things for a while now, and it seemed like that this was not the best use for a mind that I was gifted with. I wanted to give people something that was beyond communicating for a cause, even
Right.
if it was a good cause at times,
Yeah.
but something more. And I have a teenage daughter who's a teenage now, but she was around, I think, 11 and a half then. And there was always that struggle of parenting, and I always found that I was not good enough in my head.
Right.
So what I tried to do was uh, give her an equal platform. Whatever I proposed, then we both had to live up to it.
Oh.
So obviously that became a very difficult task because most of the time she would turn back and say, "But you're not doing this. If you're saying this, I should be doing this." And I was talking to this friend of mine, and he said, "This is exactly what you should put out there. That
Oh.
the value systems that you're trying to give her, this is
Mm-hmm.
uh, field that is missing because people are not talking about it. Initially, that was the age group that I wanted to talk to, a little older to that, say 15 to 30 or something, where
Mm.
people are, students are entering either some kind of academia or interns are starting their jobs. We put so much pressure on success, but
Yeah.
we rarely ever talked about value systems. In the space that I grew up, we were thrashed for doing the wrong thing. There was no middle ground, and it
Yes.
was like a par for the course. कि लग रहा है कि आज बजा ही देते हैं तो बजा देते हैं तो क्या होगा
Hmm.
अपना एक बच्चा है. But अभी वो भी सब नहीं हो रहा है. अभी we are trying to be equal to our kids and we are trying to give them a space to think openly and literally life is on offer for them. But we
Yes.
are doing them a great disservice by not even talking about what value systems were inculcated in us or through school. We had, in fact, I remember we had a subject called moral science.
Yeah.
So those things I thought was a good topic. The only fear I had was that I didn't want to get into gurudom of sorts. That I didn't want to be the one to be telling people. So he says
Okay.
you just got to remember that you don't know enough. And that kind of settled my mind. Okay, that is good enough. And I started, and luckily, one after another, I've been meeting people who've been kind and gracious, and I've come on the podcast for reasons. You are the first person I've openly asked the reason, and you've not taken any, uh, you haven't framed it in a manner where the values workshop is glorified or my this is glorified. So it is even better that okay, we have a completely open space to start this from. So I will now go back to the first question that I actually then I want to ask you, considering that you said that you love advertising.
Yes.
Uh, we are creating, I'm using a word, but it's not the exact word, a fake world of sorts. I'm
Yeah.
getting very excited about it for temporary purposes.
Yeah.
That's what communication is because you have a certain product or service that you're marketing and you're
Correct.
creating a concept that makes it palatable or likable or
Yes.
attracts people to it. And then, however, we manage to sell it or not sell it is another story altogether.
Yeah.
What is exciting about creating a fake world?
See, firstly, uh, it's not a 9 to 5 job. You don't have to stick here. It's very flexible and not in terms of hours or some kind of a pattern of working. I'm not talking about that flexibility. I am talking about the brain or the creative mind flexibility. It's you're not in a box. You're not living in a box or working in a bank kind of environment where you have to come here, enter data entry types and go home, sleep, come the next day. It's not that. You give your brain that what do you call the movement, and every day it's a new movement. You are not restricting no your mind or your brain to work in a certain pattern. Like you said, like every day we get new products to work on, and the product has to be, or the advertising revolving around it has to be different than the previous product that you have worked on. That cannot be same. So your mind works that way. You're keeping yourself alive. That is what that is when I said that I feel alive, is because I'm giving my brain that kind of freedom to think very differently. Maybe sometimes I am forced, like by my seniors, or like throughout the years, I'm saying, not this or previous one, but throughout the years I'm being pressurized. Maybe sometimes you have to get an idea. I know, but then that is a pump, for my brain to come. Now you can start thinking. Now you have to do something. You have to have a concept, a theme, or anything like that. Which will make that product visible and everything like that. So you're you're pressurizing your brain to do something that maybe that you are in the space because you like it. Nobody has forced you to come here and work. That was my decision to work in a ad agency or in this space or advertising. So I know I have to work, but working is also fun in an agency, I feel. Like, because I have been working in agencies where the work is fun. So I know my mind is become creative maybe, and over the years it has grown. The level of creativity, or maybe the level of thinking perception has changed a lot. So maybe, yeah, that's why I think, I am suited, or very okay, I want to work in this field only. So I am not bored. I am not and I am a person who gets very bored easily. But then I know, because every day I'm working differently in a manner, which is completely different than the yesterdays. So I know, that's why I think
Okay.
yeah.
My okay, that was my next question. Anyway. How do you handle boredom?
How do I handle boredom? I mean, yeah, recently I've started listening to a lot of podcasts in the office as well. So, that diverts my mind, And then again, I don't completely sit like binge watching type. I don't binge listening and I don't do that, because then again, I'll get bored of that also. I know. Then I'll have to come back to work, and I don't want, something to snatch me, or, steal me to work. Because if I'm in, or in the office, I know I have to work first and then deal with my boredom. But yeah, so podcast is a recently I have figured it's a good way of keeping yourself calm and everything. It's not stress. I don't take that much stress, because I know when I'm a huge fan of Bollywood music. I know it's a very cliche thing to say, but yeah, I listen to music. So I know, sometimes I get, yesterday only I heard this song. I don't know. I think I'm getting bored. I don't want to hear to this song. That is according to the mood. Maybe, yeah, I'm not in that mood. Maybe podcast is something that every day, if one series also, so it's all different chapters, all different stories. So I'm not listening to the same thing over and over again. Movies used to be my way of killing boredom, but then these days movies are also not. I don't think
Okay.
it is boring. It's become boring, I feel. Yeah.
Okay, so let me put it this way. However exciting advertising is, there are jobs which are extremely boring and demand a lot of concentration.
Correct.
Uh, uh, say legal ads, government ads,
Yeah.
uh, the kind of stuff that we were trying to do together at that point of time, even if it was a brief amount of time, I'm sure you guys spent a lot more time before that.
Yes.
Uh, that required a lot of effort, understanding, intensity, and above all, concentration.
Correct.
So if uh, I'm playing the devil's advocate, if I'm a client and I'm coming to somebody who gets bored easily, but I know my job is boring, but it is important to me,
Yeah.
how do you how do you make your peace with the boredom?
Good question. Actually, I I'm yet to make peace with my body. Honestly, I'm yet to, because I cannot define. How do I deal with it? I mean, dealing with is I can distract, but dealing is I'm yet to discover, and I know I'm getting it from an expert. I mean, I know you've been there, you've done a lot of things. I am just a, what do you say, a seed. Maybe I'm yet to grow. I know, and I've not been there where you are right now. So it's very easy for me. But because you are kind of a person who will reach here and then reach bottom. I may be here, I am bored. Like that, it might be the situation right now. But honestly, I don't know how I'll be dealing. Honestly, it's very difficult for me to answer that. How will I deal boredom? I can just distract myself from boredom, but I don't know about dealing.
Or do you so do you think it's a problem getting
Yeah,
bored so easily?
yeah. It is genuinely a problem, because see, there's it's inconsistency. I feel sometimes you shouldn't. I mean, what people do get bored when they are actually bored. I may be just using this as an excuse that I'm bored because I don't like certain thing. Maybe. So I know it's a very bad thing. I mean, I'm not sure that it's my trait, or that I should be working on or something like that. But I know it's a very bad thing that I get bored very easily, and
Hmm.
but I've not been able to know also that how do I stop myself from being bored so easily. What is that is triggering? That's the
Okay.
thing.
Uh, I can share one little trick that I used with my daughter when it was young. It doesn't always work.
No, please do.
Now we haven't spoken about this particular trick in a long time.
Yeah.
One of the things that we tried to do, obviously, like I said, she had put the condition that I have to do the things that I was,
Advising her to do.
yeah, yeah, advocating at that point of time. One of the things that we were trying to do is we did more of the things that we didn't like,
Oh,
and
okay.
we did less of the things that we liked.
Oh,
And so, for example, you can start with very small things. So, one particular vegetable or some dish that you don't like,
okay.
then you just eat it. First few times is far more difficult because you are then getting very agitated about it. But since you have taken the call that you are doing it, then there is nobody to blame. So the first
Correct.
layer is out,
Okay.
that somebody has forced me or the event has forced me or something is happening that I cannot deal with. And the second layer where you are you and you are bored and you do not like what is happening and you're making your peace with it because you've decided I want to figure out what this is. Over a period, you will find certain other triggers in the mind open up
Hmm.
where you are able to understand uh, how this works,
Yeah.
how my mind is working, why is it getting agitated or bored or it's finicky about certain things.
Hmm.
And this happens, this is very useful because if you start doing this often enough, what you will see is where you were not planning to do it, it automatically starts getting into motion. So if
Oh,
a client has come and he's not really giving you the job, and sometimes you're just sitting there knowing that he's already decided, but you have to, uh,
put the face on.
yeah, for on the face of it, you have to just stick with it because you can't get out of the meeting. Maybe you're not senior enough, or whatever other problems come. So
Yeah.
then you're just sitting there, but you decide you are not going to get more. In
Hmm.
fact, yesterday I read something very nice. There was this monk who was meditating somewhere, and he had a good 8, 10 months of good meditation in one place. Then he shifted, he came to another place, and it wasn't happening as well. In fact, it was so good earlier that he thought that he was enlightened by now and there would be no more problems. So he comes to this new place and he's not happy, he's getting bored, and he's saying this is not up to it. So I'll go back to that same place. So he goes back to the same place and unfortunately he falls sick.
Oh, okay.
So because he felt sick, people fetch him and like they come from to below the mountain wherever there was some arrangement. And he's in summer. There are mosquitoes and there's a tin roof and it's getting hot and he's displeased with everything. And suddenly, out of nothing, all those months of work and all, he realizes he says, I don't have to participate in this.
Hmm.
At least my mind is in my hand, so I will not mind it. He says that after that, his progress became faster. Today, he's one of the very well-known monks all over the world, and he's somebody that a lot of meditators look up to and monks look up to. But
Hmm.
that was one time where he said that we really need to bring it down to the smallest thing that is possible because that makes it manageable.
Yeah. Right away.
So, yeah, a bit of
Yes.
unsolicited advice there, but you can
Yeah.
try it because
I'll
it
try
helps. And okay, I have another provocative question here.
it.
So,
Okay.
while you may decide to try this kind of uh,
Exercise.
attempt to at least notice your boredom, if nothing else,
Yeah.
has life been so kind to you that you found no boredom or no sorrow, no dissatisfaction, no unhappiness? Has it always been so kind, or what's the reason of your quote unquote cockiness? Is not the word, but basically there is a sense of empowerment or other entitlement is the word I'm saying. Entitlement, the life should behave the way I want it to, but वैसा होता नहीं.
Yeah. Yeah. Correct.
So I want to know, have you ever noticed that life is quite bad when it wants to teach us a lesson? It quite
Yeah,
gets
of
away.
course. I mean, yes, of course. It is, I mean. But See, the reason that I am this, maybe, see, I know I'm not a fake talkative person. I mean, I'm not talking because I am hiding something or something like that. But yeah, I mean, sorrows, yes, of course, I've had, I am, whatever. But that's a, it has to, I have to have sorrows. I mean, I cannot be living without sorrows. Same way, happiness, everything. It has to be a, platter type mix of everything. I cannot be continuously happy all the time. And maybe the whole day I am happy, I will stay calm for 2 minutes at least to be on
Hmm.
ground. I mean, yeah, I cannot be, people find me very fake, कि नहीं तो बहुत ज्यादा खुश है, दिखावा है types, you
No,
know.
I didn't come from that also.
Okay.
Uh, I'm coming from you to you because
Okay.
it's your viewpoint of the world where you say I get bored easily.
Mm-hmm.
So either you not realize that boredom is part of the deal that life is handing us. Uh, so that came from your point of view. People judge all the time. Even if you're right all the time, you will find somebody who is thinking that you're wrong. So that's unimportant. I'm more concerned about your mind space uh, when you're dealing with sorrow. But you use an interesting term. Yes, sorrow is good. Why is it good?
Yeah. Yeah.
Why is it good?
It is good. I mean, it keeps you the sanity. I mean, of yourself. I mean, me. I'm saying, I know I have to be. I mean, I should have. I'm a human. I'm not saying humans are taught such way कि you should have sorrow. Maybe ऐसा भी हो सकता है कि एक बंदा खुशी हो सकता है. Yeah, I know. But then there are a lot of. I mean, अगर है emotions इतने तो तुम्हें होने चाहिए सब कुछ. So I feel sorrow is also a good thing. You cry sometimes, whatever. I mean, if you feel something, you cry. When you're hurt, you cry. So sorrow has to be there. I mean, that I think that keeps me grounded or maybe sane. Sometimes I cannot be happy all the time. Yeah, I mean,
So that's a good perspective, a rare one, if I may say so. Most people are hankering after happiness and joy so much that the pressure to be happy all the time makes us sorrowful.
yeah, exactly. Yeah, exactly.
But
You
I'm
cannot
still,
be
I, sorry,
you cannot be happy all the time. I mean, it's too what do you say? Cliche. Yeah,
boring.
it's too cliche. Cannot be happy all the
Yeah.
time.
Uh, so I want to know again a little more deeper into that space.
Yeah.
When you are sorrowful,
When?
when you are sorrowful, say for example, you've had a fight with someone, or maybe something that you wanted didn't happen in the way you wanted, or whatever the reason of your being unpleasant in that moment, or feeling some kind of dissatisfaction or sorrow in that moment.
Yeah.
Does the wisdom arise then कि ऐसा ही होना चाहिए, or you want to bash up a few people?
Depends on what kind of sorrow. If it is me who have given myself, I mean, I have disappointed myself and I'm very sad about it, then I don't feel like bashing someone or, venting it out on someone else. But yeah, if I have someone who has given me that, authority, okay, chalo, let's do it then. I mean, not a violent type of thing, but then, interesting thing that I do is when I'm very angry. If I'm angry because I am sad or somebody else has disappointed me, or even my thinking has disappointed me, I do a very good thing that I go to my washroom. I speak to myself. I speak to myself and I get that thing out of my head. I don't want to deal with people right now because I know that's going to affect my relationship or maybe my mindset or my mood. So I know I am not going to, confront people and no unnecessary blame them for my own deeds. So I stay away from people for a while. I do that. I practice this exercise. I go to my washroom and I just start talking to myself and I play, role play kind of thing. Yeah, I am me. The evil and the good me are, fighting with each other, and that gets out of my system. So I'm okay. So yeah,
Wonderful. Wonderful. That's a practical suggestion for people
yeah,
who are watching and want to try this. You can try this at home and right in your washroom. Washroom.
yes,
Um, how do you see this wisdom that arises that, okay, maybe I am to blame for it, not necessarily it's always the other person or the event itself. So, is this what happens in the washroom? I'm sorry, getting into your literally your private space, but but in this kind of talk, I used to do this a lot as a kid, a
Okay.
lot.
Okay.
Like it was the go-to thing that whoever I wanted to bash was actually bashed, but they didn't know.
Okay. Nice. That's nice.
So whether it was my parents or this or that, whoever had disappointed me, and I was like, yeah, it's okay, and I can live with it. Um, so my question to you, in that space when you talk to yourself, have you realized the guidance giving puja,
Hmm. Hmm.
where does that wisdom arise from? What is it that is really happening?
Nice.
Because it seems to work, you said.
Yeah,
You
it's
are
working. Yeah,
okay.
it's
So
working.
what is it making it work? What is it that you're really doing? But
A
the
strange.
person who entered is also the same puja, by the way. There are not two people.
Yes,
It is
yeah,
that you have decided that this person is no longer in force.
yeah.
The
Yes,
wiser one is now coming
that's
forth.
me.
So what is it?
So a strange thing, but see, it's like if I'm fighting with you or I'm arguing with you, I know because I know you. That's why I'm arguing with you. Okay. So if I'm arguing with, I know what answers would you give me if I ask you this question, you know. So I tend to fight with the guidance giving puja would be a personality similar to people that I know. Say my mother, my father, my husband or anyone. So, but then again, not leaving my identity, okay, like the guidance giving puja, because see this, you said that this is a wisdom, like where do you get this wisdom, like this guidance
Because it
guiding?
works and
Yeah,
you're
it is
peaceful.
working because I think that at the end of that argument, I know that it's puja who's winning. Maybe that's why I'm giving that kind of guidance to the evil puja types, you know. Ki,
Okay.
uh, something not always that I want to hear, but then like if I've had an argument with someone, then I'm talking, something this guidance giving puja will tell, ki nay, you should have thought what he might or she might have thought. So this wisdom, I think, empathizing quality of mine, maybe, yeah, that quality, I think, is.
Okay. I'll try and make it a more pointed question with an example.
Yeah.
So, for example, you lied to me about something and I caught you later in the middle of whatever. You said you are at a meeting and suddenly I find you are at a cafe and we are friends and "Arey, but you told me you're at a meeting or whatever, something
Yeah.
as
Okay.
small as that.
Yeah.
And you lied further and you've gone and you know that we both understood what has happened.
Yeah.
And you are in your washroom in that space where you can talk to yourself and you're trying to figure out uh, what is right, what is wrong. Do you realize that, oftenly we depends on who you are uh, thinking about, but it doesn't really matter. It could be me, it could be yourself, it could be your higher wisdom or whatever you want to think.
Yeah.
But it kind of works for you in that space because
Mhm.
you're being honest about things. Because
Correct.
there's no judgment happening. And the empathy arises from the fact that first you have to learn to love yourself. You
Yeah.
know you failed. You know you've done the wrong thing. You shouldn't have lied in the first place. Then you
Yes.
go back and you say, okay, I had to lie because this guy is always pestering me about this job. I know it is not done yet. His payment is not cleared or whatever jobs or issues that we have in our life.
Yeah.
But you say, I should have said the right thing to him or the honest thing to him. Like, had I told him the truth, then this wouldn't have arisen. And then you are like, okay, next time onwards, I know that this is how I need to work forward, and it falls in place. This space, can it come out of the bathroom?
Come out of the bathroom, I say.
Because it's always happening when you're alone
Yeah.
and it's working for you. So why
Yes.
will it not work in real time? it is something that can become a part of your nature as much as the easily bored puja is. It
Okay.
could be the easily calm puja, easily. See, everything is connected inside, right? Uh, we are not really as different, however, different characteristics we may have, and we may pose differently in front of different people. All that will happen. It happens because we are still unclear. But the
Yes.
clarity is that all good things connect with us inside, all bad things connect inside. So if I'm a liar, it's also possible that I may do other things that are easily uh, trans transcending the boundaries of goodness for
Mm-hmm.
oneself or for others. Or
Mm-hmm.
if I am something similarly goodness, if I become confident in this truth that internally when I talk to myself, I don't lie,
Right.
then I can bring that truth outside and try.
Yeah.
Like it's not going to always work, but
Mm.
your confidence in it will work because
Yes.
you will come to peace with it. Okay, this is my boredom, this is my fears, these are my doubts, these are things that I try to wriggle out of.
Yeah.
And then the boredom itself might get resolved.
Correct.
Because my daughter has this thing when I have not been watching a lot of movies with her, and why are you so boring, or why are you doing this or not doing this? And I've been telling her, see, life is so palpably alive that I really don't need entertainment from the computer or the Instagram. Not that I'm not addicted. Uh,
Mm-hmm.
like I'm fed up with my own addiction with Insta or other social media. But it's not. I can do without it. I can
Yeah.
do. I can go and sit in a garden for an hour without my phone and be very comfortable with the whole thing.
Yeah.
Just doing nothing, just watching the trees and the birds and the butterflies, or whatever, or whatever. And I find it very easy to be in my own company.
Mm. Okay.
That is something that is coming to me because it's working for you.
Hmm. Right.
See, the idea is not that I'm giving you something new. I'm just saying the space and time may change, but the
Yes.
same person is there in the meeting, in your privacy in the bathroom, or in public in an office meeting or something. It's the same person,
So, yes.
and
Absolutely.
you can. Then there are times when you just need to stay quiet because you know at this point
There's
the
yeah.
temperature has gone so high that you cannot really get into that visor mode. You
Correct.
just stay quiet and you say, "Okay, night." And without going to my comfort space,
Mm-hmm.
I'll stay here and I will watch what is happening. Let's see.
Yeah.
ज़्यादा से ज़्यादा क्या 1 or 2 bodies the police will have to come and collect.
That I don't think I don't hope that should happen. No, no, no.
Yeah, I was just checking whether you are listening as intently as it looks like.
Yeah, of course.
Okay. Uh, so one question connected to the field that you're operating in.
Yeah.
Uh, I have seen a lot of good work being rejected very often, and it's more often than not. I worked with some of the people in your office, and we've had major issues with rejections at times, and we've done some excellent work, and
Yes.
it still doesn't go through. So, what does Pooja tell Pooja when things are not going according to plan, and you need it desperately, and the crying and the comfort and all of that is not working? What do you tell yourself to go back to the drawing board?
Firstly, what I feel is brilliant. The person sitting exactly opposite to me won't find it. That is my thinking. What I feel, which thing I like, not necessary the person who's who I am presenting has to like. But yeah, when I feel such thing, then I was like कि क्या क्या वो चीज थी जो गलत हो गई, right? I think maybe, but then the thing that keeps me going, or come back and do the same, I mean, work on the new options, say, for example, is that I know I want that to happen. I know I want to give it back to that person. I mean, in a good way. You see what we can do. We, as in, I'm not talking as a team here, But yeah, so
Yeah,
I want to come back and, prove that, no, I don't want you to go anywhere else. Not that I am very competitive in terms of, my client going to someone else, not something like
I
that.
understand.
But then, yeah, but there's the sense of what do you call, fear of, letting that person go just because he found my ideas or my agency's ideas not good enough for him, which is getting rejected, which we have been working on for months and months, to get to that. But I want him to stay and see what we can do. So that is something that keeps me, go back to working on the same thing again. Maybe that thing. I cannot go. I mean, it's a very personal thing that I bring in my professional life as well. I can't get let go of people or things so easily. I mean, I cannot. I mean, I want them to, be with me as in just professionally. I'm saying, be with me, like to work on their campaigns or anything like that. I want their success, and somewhere I'm as in my agency is like, yeah, we have done that. I want that thing to happen. I mean, who doesn't like their work? I mean, be it as a rejected work, but over the time, your agency holds that strength. I mean, they are their capabilities or capacity they are in. That they can do wonders. So the wonder rejected doesn't let you cannot be disheartened with that. नहीं यार, इसको कुछ समझेगा ही नहीं, इसको मैं कितना भी अच्छा दूं, is going to reject. No, maybe then again empathizing कि maybe नहीं, उसको नहीं अच्छा लगा. Maybe उसने brief जो दिया था, उसने एक मन में he had something in mind कि ये ऐसा होगा, तो वो शायद नहीं था. But अगर हम if I am convincing him कि नहीं यही अच्छा है, then he'll be like कि नहीं, she just wants to sell this, so I cannot
True.
be doing that. So instead I'll go back and give him something that, something better. Maybe I know creativity is like not, good, better, best. It cannot be like that. You cannot have a scale to that. But I guess you can go back and, at least for you, that, feeling that you have given something better. So
Yeah,
I cannot let that go. Maybe that's the reason that, gets me to
go
working.
on with it.
Yeah.
Um, it's very interesting. This is the first time even I know the process you're talking about, having lived through so many of these campaigns and presentations and pitches.
Hmm.
Um, what I found interesting is that why are we uh, unable to bring the same level of empathy in life and other aspects of our lives where it would be so simple actually. If
Yeah.
we had the same attitude where we were not take it or leave it, but
Mhm.
saying, okay, if you do not like this one, now let me go back and present another way of being uh, something that is more palatable, unless it goes through our core, goes against our core value system.
Yeah,
That's just,
of course.
obviously that is true for work as well. There are times there are certain jobs we have not done, and I
Yeah.
have a list of industries that I don't do any work for, and I lose money at times, and I'm okay with that. This is
Yeah.
just a call that you have to learn to take. There
Correct.
are certain kinds of people that you don't work with. Once you've dealt with them and you realize they are not good people or their intentions are not up to it, so you don't want to work. They may have all the money in the world, but that's
Yes.
just how it is.
Absolutely.
But actually, one surprising thought that comes to me: we always keep on thinking as work is separate from life, as if we are some important people in an important job that we are doing, where we have to excel in a certain way or behave in a certain way. And life तो चलता रहेगा,
No.
वो तो side में है. But actually, this is our life. We are not going to get these 6 hours back again, or 8 hours back again, or 2 hours back again. We are dealing with other human beings. We are dealing with the best that we've tried to give from our own side, or they have tried to. Of late, one of the learnings that I have been having, I'm working with uh, some days I'm working with so many people and so many different clients that uh, I wonder once that is done, that how did I manage to do one thing was about fashion, the other was about uh, an engineering company, and the third was about some builder, and the fourth was about some fabric manufacturer. I have no clue how am I doing this. But the one thing that I knew when I was studying this back, when I started seeing how do I manage to do this, that in that moment, when I'm sitting with you and working on your job, I am not mentally freelancing.
Mm.
There is no running away from, oh, my home has this problem or this has this problem or that. I am fully focused upon those 20 minutes or 1 hour that I've given you, fully focused upon what we are doing and trying to read your mind and
Correct.
trying most of some of the people that I work for are now from agencies and event companies. Some of them are direct clients, but mostly I've tried to take a back foot and work with agencies and event companies because it's easier for me. They understand what I bring to the table. I don't have to put in extra effort to make the like I have to do with like the job that you do. If I
Yes.
do it myself, then I have to go represent and come and explain to the client what is happening. I would rather that Pooja do that job and I'll
Correct.
just do the creative and get off.
Yes.
So in this entire exercise, this is life. I'm
Yeah.
dealing with you. Sometimes you say, look, he's not getting it. And
Mm.
I'm adamant. I'll say I'll not change it. Then you'll say, at least talk to my client.
Mm.
Explain to him what you are thinking. I think maybe there will be a third position that will come up.
Yes.
So at that point, I have to deal with your client also because my money is dependent upon you getting the client. So you'll pay me only when you make money. So that kind of thinking.
Correct.
I'm saying we try to break it and think of it as a science, whereas it's an emotional journey where we are trying to be the best that we can be.
Yes.
And we don't see it as value system, unfortunately. We are so concerned about getting the job or not getting the job. There are times when uh, I'm sure I have at least heard of offers where that guy will say that you present, we'll reject it, but you'll get some pitch fee. You'll get. So uh, I find it extremely negative in terms of approaching our work. So I would rather not pitch at times. Like, listen, if you're not going to get it, let's not even bother. Because
Mm.
my whole team, like I've seen people working together and giving their 100%. They're losing their sleep and there is no day or night that we know of and we are getting into the hang of each and every small detail. Only when I know I'm going to get it, I would rather push all of us.
Yeah.
Or at least a fair chance. We may lose. And it has happened ample number of times. One question here. How do you deal with internal conflicts when your team is working together? You feel strongly that this doesn't work. As a creative person, I have had immense,
Yeah.
massive fights with client servicing. These days, lesser. I guess I'm older and a lot more easy to work with now. Uh, but at that point of time, it was quite painful for myself and the others. So, how do you deal with that aspect where you're working together, but you're just not happy with that particular job or whatever is being presented or whatever? And I want you to answer not from the advertising point of view, but from a human point of view.
Okay.
What does Pooja, the person who's dejected and disappointed, so that people who are not from the field can also relate because this happens to all teams in all
Yeah.
kinds of.
Yes. Luckily, uh, see again, little bit I'll take a agency of scenario.
Approach.
Luckily, you know Adesh sir, right?
Hmm.
So yeah, he when he used to work in an agency earlier, he said a very good thing that designers or creative people, should have a very good relationship with their client servicing. They should always keep them happy. Reason is, she or he is going to be the face of your this artwork.
Correct.
So she's the one or he's the one who's going to sell. So you should always listen to that person. I mean, not always, but then you should keep like him in, what do you say,
No
your
good books.
corner, or, no, my client servicing people is my best friend, and my designer is my best friend. So generally when I have this thing that I have not liked a particular thing, so me as a person, I mean a human being, I would think why not give that person also a chance? I mean, he or she cannot, you know he is in that shoe for a reason, you know and vis-a-vis, I mean, even he or she thinks the same thing, she or he knows, I mean, the client servicing or the account manager knows the brief properly, maybe I'm missing out on on certain things. So I have that understanding, I make them understand, कि चलना और एक ऑप्शन बना दे मेरे लिए, is a way of dealing, कि I'll not disappoint you, कि ज्यादा से ज्यादा क्या मेरा ऑप्शन रिजेक्ट हो जाएगा ना, तू बना तो दे, देखते हैं टाइप्स. So here everyone is happy. No, at the end of the, when I'm in a meeting, I know either my, if my idea gets rejected, if at all my idea gets rejected, I know कि ठीक है, that was just a try, that's what, just a trial ball that I put. So I just wanted कि maybe I'm on a right track, or just an idea, just दे ही सकते हैं. And this is the understanding that I have had with my colleagues or my teammates, like we don't diss them, कि nahi, don't do this, I mean it's wrong or it's not right, something like that. I don't do that because I feel, because I'm a person who like to have, whether it's personal or your professional relationships, I like maintaining that relationship and good terms. Like I generally do not कि नहीं यार नहीं, you're my colleague, you're my junior, to behave a certain way, I am giving you orders, you have to do exactly like what I say. So it's not, and that's what I said, ki ad agency is something that you're free to do, I mean not everything, but yeah, but you have your opinions. By me being a client servicing, even an office peon or an office boy can come up with a brilliant idea. You cannot say no to anyone. That's just an idea that you are. So how do I deal with it? Is like I don't have to, but then if someday this problem arises, I know I'll fight it out, and just but make them explain. I'm not just saying this out of just to listen to me, because I have heard the brief, I have got this on table, and I have given you this authority कि नहीं चलो तुम बनाओ अपने से नहीं. I make them understand, कि नहीं, let's try this way. If they're convinced, okay. If they're not, then I think I'll just let that go, because I don't think that's worth my time also. I mean, as a human, I'm saying. But if I'm on a, I'm on a radar, or, on a CCTV surveillance key, nahi, that's your job, you have to do it, then my hook or by crook, you'll have to listen to me. Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
We started with somebody who was bored very easily, but comes across as wise from time to time, as the chat proves. Uh,
I'm
and
so glad that somebody has called me wise. Yeah. That's
I think we all are. In fact, the idea is that the the problem is that most of us do not realize people who are talkative can actually contribute to the world in a manner which is different from uh, those who are uh, unable to express themselves.
yeah,
Uh, the idea is that we keep talking a lot. This was one of the things I thought about myself during the distress wala period, that I talk so much, might as well talk something that will help someone.
correct.
What is the use of keeping on jabbering about things that don't matter?
Yeah,
So possibly in this half an hour, 45-minute chat, whatever we've had, maybe 42 minutes are not useful. But that one thing somebody at some point is going through and may hear the right thing. Just
yeah,
today I heard somebody uh, pick up something from the last time's chat, and I was like, yeah, that was nice. Some description now was described as no other way. And I said, yeah, it kind of clicked with me as well.
yeah,
And some days when you're going through a bad time, it just takes that one little thing that it just clicks for you, and you say, okay, I can manage today. Let's see tomorrow what happens.
yeah.
And the world is a very small place. We can do as much good as possible. So thank you for helping me with participating in this chat. I'm glad that we had this one.
Oh, thank you. Thank you. It's pleasure. I had so much fun.
Yes, I'll see you around.
Yeah,
Bye.
thank you. Bye bye.
Bye.